Well, I think we can see in the years worth of SAG attempting to improve upon the DGA deal to no avail, that that because we're in a tri-guild negotiating environment, that once one of us makes a deal, that does become significantly the template upon which all the other deals exist. The particular circumstances of that is there were a number of times during the strike that I was asked to act as an intermediary with various parties based on my past experience in negotiating. One of the reasons I didn't serve on the negotiating committee was to be available to do those sorts of things. Because the negotiating committee and the leadership actually can't be involved in doing that. It's kind of part of the protocol of how it works. And in the case of the DGA, once the DGA made the decision to go in and negotiate, we did not have a relationship from the Guild in which we could readily communicate what was going to be acceptable to membership. And I was asked to go to the DGA and to kind of express sort of personally what I thought would be necessary to make a deal. And what I was asked to do in the process of doing that was to also, if they were to make a deal, would be to support it publicly, which I did. I supported it publicly. And it was one of those moments of being at the front of the class. You know, you go up to the front of the class and you turn around, nobody's actually behind you. I did think there'd be a few other people there, given the circumstances, the way it went down. And I did think it was a very good deal, and I still think it was a very good deal. And I don't think that the deal would have been bettered by our staying out substantially longer. There were things that could have been done earlier, but those are, you know, negotiations are very fluid. It is what it is at the moment you get there. And so, you know, while I think people are frustrated, and I've heard comments that somehow I was involved in us not getting DVDs during the 2007 deal or something. I think that once we allowed the DGA to come in, when we were not having communications with the DGA, they were going to negotiate that deal. And everyone knew that that was what was going to happen. It was discussed, and I personally discussed it with the leadership of the Guild, and you know, a month before the strike began. It was a matter of how long could we hold them off, and then once they did come in and they started negotiating for us, you know, what kind of a deal were they going to be able to get that would be acceptable? And I think that given that the strength of the strike itself and what our members did, they made a much better deal for their members and by extension for us than they would have ever made on their own. And they have told me that. It's a tired metaphor, but strikes like wars are very messy places. There's lots going on, and there's lots of diplomacy. I didn't believe for a moment that I was the only person being asked to act as an intermediary in these situations. I know for a fact that there were a number of other people trying to do other things and being asked to do other things. It's what happens in every one. I was very proud of the Guild itself for holding together, because my first experience was in 1988. I'd been a member only about 18 months and watched the Guild come apart. It was, you know, miraculous and wonderful to watch everybody stay together that long.